Hey guys, this is Renae, and you are listening to the Space Between podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, I bring on a guest to talk about their journey with the Dave Matthews Band. As of 2024, we have 33 years with this band who has changed the lives of so many people. And because of that is why I created this podcast to talk simply from the perspective of the fans of the band and the impact that not only the band has had on its fans, but the impact that the fans have had on the world because of a band, because of music. This is a story that I didn't think could go on and not be documented in history. And so each week I've had just the absolute pleasure to bring on a new fan to talk about their journey. Because it's January 2024, there's a little bit of just some changes I wanted to make to the show. So to allow for that, for the next 2, possibly 3 weeks, but I think just 2 weeks, we're going to run a few reruns, but we're going to do them a little bit differently. I have picked out some of my favorite shows from different seasons to re-air. If you've already listened to these episodes, that's okay. Just stay tuned. We're going to have some new ones come out very soon in the month of January, and maybe early February, but I'm hoping to get it all lined out by the end of January. So the episode that I have picked out for today aired early 2023, shortly after all of the fans returned from Dave and Tim in Mexico. Now, my guest became a little bit famous in Mexico with the fans of the Dave Matthews Band because he got lost. And yes, you heard me correctly. He got lost. Something about unlimited drinks, something about he had never been there, didn't know anybody. But guys, he tells the story, and the way he tells it and the way it actually happened and how he got famous in a foreign country with a bunch of strangers that he had never met is amazing. And because of this craziness, he felt so connected to a group of people that he had never met, but now is lifelong friends with them. He was able to change his mental status because he was in a place of, he had just come out of a divorce and there were things, and he was really trying to find a happy place. So he goes to Mexico, and what happens to him is an amazing story that I think needs to be heard. So guys, this is the episode that you are about to hear. It is from early 2023, and my guest this week is the amazing Philly Billy. Stay tuned. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Space Between podcast. I'm Renae Lipsmeyer, and today we have a super fun guest, Mr. Philly Billy, all the way from Philadelphia or near Philadelphia. Is that right?
Outside of Philadelphia.
Outside of Philadelphia. Thank you so much for being able to be on my show today. I'm excited to hear your story, and I know that there are a lot of people out there that are excited to hear your side of the story when it comes to a particular episode tour in Mexico. So I look forward for you sharing that, and stay watching because we're going to tag along the video of when he got lost in Mexico. So it will make all of us laugh. I haven't seen it all, but I've seen most of it, and it is super funny. So Philly Billy, thank you so much for being on the podcast / YouTube channel. How are you today?
I'm very great. Thank you. Thank you for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So tell me who you are, where you are, what you do. Tell me everything about who you are.
So 41, I live outside of the Lehigh Valley right now. I just moved here in November. I lived outside of Philly for 22 years. Really enjoy where I'm at now. Needed to retransplant myself. I'm a project manager for a construction company.
Awesome.
We build luxury apartments or those multifamily homes, whatever you want to call it. I have 2 boys, Cole and Ethan, 17 and 13.
Awesome ages.
Awesome ages. And,
Yeah.
just like everybody else, I'm a huge Dave fan. And I think this past year, I've really stepped out of my comfort zone and, really started I'm very green on shows. Like I went about 20 years before I went to another show. And 2018 was the first one I went to after, I think, 2009. So I took a little break, not a break listening, but a break like going to actual venues. And I'm at the point in my life now where I'm just not selfishly trying to catch up, but, trying to catch up and just, really get to the local venues that, I've missed out on over the past, decade or so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, tell us, what is the closest venue that's to you? I'm guessing, do they come to Philadelphia? I'm just not super.
So
no.
The last time he does, I shouldn't say that, but I saw him in Wells Fargo. That's in Philly in 2018.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That was my first pit show ever.
Yeah.
And the last time he came prior to that was 2012.
Okay.
So it was a hot minute, but I didn't even know that he was in Philly in 2012. But that was my first pit show. That was the first time I was ever in like a pit photo, like at the end of, like when he does the selfie, etc. So like,
absolutely.
Yeah, so that was really.
What did you think about it? Did you like it?
Oh yeah, it was great. That was the first time I ever saw Buddy Arthur.
Yes.
So that was kind of different. I know the whole Boyd situation, et cetera, they got rid of him. But personally for me, I think I was a big fan of Butch Taylor. I know some people have mixed feelings about him, but I think Butch was a great pianist. Buddy brings great instrumentals, but his vocal, I mean, that man will take you straight to church.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think initially when he started in 2018, sure, everybody was working out the kinks, whatever, but now it's like, it's just fluid, and I really couldn't imagine the band without him because he brings
such an energy, right? He just brings an energy. Just watching him is contagious. Like you just feel good watching him,
and so nonstop. And he's just the way him and Dave interact, and the way Dave and Carter interact, and I mean, it's just they've really perfected their craft over time, and
they really have.
And I try to explain to people how influential. Like his, and it's like, not to sound cliche, but his music has been so influential, not only to myself, but I'm saying to you and thousands of other fans, tens of thousands of other fans out there. Because I categorize, like, he's my happy music, right? So like if I'm down, like I'll put a show on and just listen, like, to like the hub and like put a show on and just, it always puts a smile on my face. And, I don't ever get tired of listening to him.
Hello, everybody. This is Dave Rich from the Eddie Casino Band out in Las Vegas. We're really excited to get this journey going, celebrating our music, our original music, on all platforms. We just released our first single over Labor Day weekend called Eddie Casino. If you're looking for new music, look out for our next single coming out to Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Apple Music. These guys in the band are really excited to get started playing music for you all. If you like Tom Petty, Zach Brown, Jason Mraz, Dave Matthews Band, Rob Thomas, Jimmy Buffett, Pink Floyd, Stapleton, Bare Naked Ladies, Goose, Billy Strings, Sting and the Police, a ton of influences that we bring to the table. Hope you enjoy our music and look forward to seeing you soon live on stage.
I don't either. I think that's kind of what we all have in common, right? As family, is that we haven't gotten tired of it yet. It's 32 years. And while we may not have been listening for 32 years, a lot have been listening for 20 years. And to listen for 20 years and not get tired of it, I mean, that's saying something about a band when they can continually give you even the same songs, but twist it up a little bit, and you're just still in love and you can't wait until the next time you hear it.
I agree with that because, I have been asked, like, don't you get tired of listening? Well, I don't get tired of listening to the same song because it's not the same song. It's the same song lyrically, musically.
Maybe.
Instrumentally, they're always tweaking it or doing something different. So it's always brand new,
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely.
It's just, I don't care. Like
No,
I went.
You have to explain yourself. People that don't get it just don't get it, right? And that's cool.
Yeah. So, like last year, I went to 4 shows. I took my my oldest son to Virginia Beach for his first show. He's not a fan, but I thought that it would be a great time, like, some quality time together.
Right.
And, I wanted to go see it. And hopefully, slowly, I'm trying to convert my boys into being, not diehard Dave fans, but let's go to a show. So I gotten pit tickets, and, we were literally like one person off the rail, and that was the closest I've ever been. So I'm silently like geeking out to myself, like,
yes,
holy shit, and then I compose myself, and then I'm explaining to my son, like, dude, do you even know how fortunate you are?
Yeah. And he's like, no.
He's like, okay,
we're at a concert.
Okay, Dad. And I'm like, dude, you have no idea. Like, this is your first show, and you're literally riding the rail. Like, this is bananas.
It's all going to click for him in about 20 years or 30 years. Looks back at this,
because when I was 17 or 16, like I remember I was a freshman in high school in art class, and our art teacher used to like play the radio, and we were like molding clay or using watercolors or whatever, and we would hear the initial, like, we'd hear the Space Between, Ants, Satellite, and like, okay, like I knew who Dave was, but
sure,
I wasn't like a diehard fan at that point.
Right. I think most people that we talk to, or that I talk to, it's really not until their 20s that they start to get it. So I don't know a lot of high schoolers that are even in the season of their life where any of the songs would make sense.
Right.
He really does sing more to an adult audience versus, leaning it towards children or teenagers. I think his new music fits more ages than his old music. Especially songs like Monsters and stuff. I think that can be relevant for young people as well. Now, whether or not they hear it, we'll see. But I agree. I think that, a 17-year-old child is just not going to quite get it for a few more years. And then he'll be like, Dad, thank you. So you're going to get your thanks for all this, but you're going to have to wait just a little bit.
And that was my first closer show too. And like, I didn't know what a closer was. And then I was talking to people, and I'm like, oh, okay. So like, check the box there. And it's like, it's exciting. And then like,
it is,
we were in another like, pit selfie. Like, so it was great that like I could share that with my son too. And it's like,
absolutely,
here we are, but yeah, it was a phenomenal show. The set list was amazing. My face hurt at the end. Like I just couldn't stop smiling. Like, it was just great.
Yes.
They're great songs.
Yes. You're like, I'm going to move your face. Like my cheeks are so tired.
Right. You can't. You just like next, they play a song, next song comes on. You're like, yeah. And you're just like smiling
you
the whole
can't
time.
stop. Yeah. It's better than Disney.
I agree.
It's better than Disney. Yes.
Absolutely.
So tell me, how did you find the Dave Matthews Band? Like, how is the introduction, like, through your teacher's radio in class?
Believe it or not, I found Dave Matthews by chasing a girl.
Always. That's a story. Yeah.
And one of her good friends, she's still a good friend of mine. She's a huge Dave fan. She follows the pages. She actually saw me in Mexico too, and we'll touch on that a little bit later in the show. She's like,
yes,
what is going on? And I'm like, it's a whole thing. Her name is Vicky. So back in 2001, so we literally just went to his show in Hershey, and I went because, I was trying to like talk to this girl, etc. Like 3 days later, we were hanging out, smoking a joint, and she was playing a bootleg CD, and I heard the song 41, and I was like, holy shit. Like
what the fuck is this?
As soon as Leroy came on, I was just like, I need to hear, I need to hear more. Well, one, I want to listen to that song again. Two,
yes,
I need to hear more of his music outside of like, Crash and Second,
right,
etc. That's when the whole like, Gravediggers, Jimmy Thing, What Would You Say, Trippin' Billies, like, all like the older stuff. Really got into that, like Christmas Song. But yeah, 41, and again, I know it sounds cliche. Everyone's like, a lot of people like 41, but I mean, how can you not like it?
I like it.
It was
how you can't.
it sold me on Dave, and I was ever since then. I just been continuing to like listen to his music. I wasn't a big I didn't need to grab the CDs when they came out. Like I always listened to them on like YouTube and stuff like that. So, yeah, but 41 is what got me into Dave Matthews Band.
Is it still your favorite?
One of my favorites. I don't ever get.
So what ties with 41? I mean it's hard to say.
There's so many,
and I hate that question.
There's so many songs.
I hate that question.
So like one of the songs I heard that I really love now, that I heard in Virginia Beach was Sweet. And it's an older song. It came out I think in like 2012, and I've never heard it before. So the fact that he was playing it on the ukulele, Stefan was playing the bass on the ukulele, but it was the transit. Like it was one. The words are stunning, and the fact that it was about his son, and I was there with my son. Really.
Oh my God, yeah.
Really resonated with me, but. What melted me on that was when Buddy started to come in on the piano. I was like, wow, like this is so beautiful. And then Tim would come in and they would go back and forth. Like it was bomb.
It's a great song. And I share the same with that song. I did not hear it for the first time or I don't remember it until 2019, 2020 was the first time I heard that. And it must have been 2020 because I want to say it's when Dave was doing his at-home series because we were all at home for COVID. And I think that's one of the times he told the backstory of that he wrote it watching his son swim. And just I think that whole parenting story just, got into this mama's heart and was like, oh my God, I love it because it is such a great song. And so now I appreciate that song. I love that song. And it's never a buzzkill for me for him to go from really, fast songs to sweet. I love that song. It's really great.
But the whole drop, after the second verse, and then Carter comes in like, and then it just like breaks out, and it's and then the instrumental is, but there's like. Yeah, 41 is probably still one of my favorite songs, but there's how can you just have one favorite? I mean, there's so
you can't. I mean, when people ask me that question, and it's funny because I really hate asking that question, but I just did ask you that question. I hate it because I don't think that there's an answer for it, at least not for me. I really just
some
can't.
People do have an answer. They're like, yeah, this is my favorite song, and that's it. And I'm like, great, but like, I mean, just so many favorites. His list is just so long, and
it is. And I'm the girl that's standing there at a concert, and with every start of new songs, I'm like, that's my favorite. That's my favorite. With every song, that annoying girl that's like, this is it.
So like when I was in Madison Square Garden this year, so I hit a few shows this year. I think like 4 last. So Virginia Beach was my first closer of the summer tour. Then I went to Ohio, which was 2 days before MSG. Never been to MSG, so I went to both nights at MSG. That was amazing.
I can't imagine.
I never heard "Shake Me Like a Monkey" before. That I love that song.
So good.
So great.
So good.
I never heard, what did he play? I got to pull up the set list, but there's a few songs that I never heard live before, that like I really enjoy, but like, I mean, he played like So Right really resonates to me a lot.
So good. So good.
Like a chaser of mine is like, I never heard, what is it? That Girl Is You with Preservation Hall. Like that's on my bucket list. Like, that's like a fire song. I
hope that happens.
Have you ever heard that version?
No, have I heard it? Yeah. Have I seen? No. Were they at MSG? Where did Preservation Hall come?
So they're from New Orleans. So
right. Yeah, but they came to tour at some point. Like, were they in? Where were they last year?
They came. I think it was Connecticut, or it was some weird spot.
Okay.
They were playing.
Okay.
They were touring also, and I think they were close together, and like he brought them on.
Okay.
But yeah, like that's one of my chasers, and I have a few more. But like, I'm so green that like I'm still learning all the lingo and the acronyms and. I didn't know what a closer was. I didn't know what a chaser song was. And I'm like, oh, it all makes sense now because people explained it to me, but.
Right. There's a lot. It's like a whole different language, or at least it can be in a whole subsection of the world with people that are, it's something you have to learn, especially like if for new people that are coming to Dave, I can see where it would be very intimidating to, listen to a podcast or something, because we do tend to talk about things that are just way out there. But I kind of rest in knowing that there are people that know way more than me, way more than me. So I don't think we can ever catch up. There's just so much history.
But I am knowledgeable.
It's impossible.
That's the one thing. I am knowledgeable. So I do know. I know enough, Dave, and like that I can hang in the conversations. I'm always open to learn new things, which I will. But just because I lag on the shows doesn't mean that.
No, not at all.
No, I'm not assuming anybody's But I do know.
No, that you don't know, because you do know. Mm-hmm. It's not the number of shows you've been to that that equal what you know, because we know. So take us to a different country. Let's talk about a story in Mexico. Now, I wasn't there, so I'm just all hearing this from you and remembering back on Facebook when all of you were in Mexico. So tell us, why did you go to Mexico? Like, what kind of made you want to go?
So Mexico was always on my bucket list. Like, that was the first time I ever heard Dave and Tim play like by themselves outside of like watching a video or listening to, like live at the Lutheran Center, et cetera. Like, so that was a great album, actually. Double album. Matter of fact, they really killed it on that one. But, I've always wanted to see them play live, but, it's a win-win if you go to Mexico for a week, all inclusive, and you get 3 concerts thrown in there at the same time. So, I was at the point in my life where I was like, you know what, life's too short. I'm going to pull the trigger and I'm going to go do it. So I did it and I had all the fun.
What's up, everybody? This is David with the Dave Matthews Tribute Band. We're a nationally touring tribute to DMB, playing shows all over the country and beyond. Our goal is to bring you back to the classic sound that you fell in love with in the 90s and the 2000s, featuring a violin, saxophone, and maybe some keyboards sprinkled in as well. You can find out information about all of our tours and shows by visiting thedmtb.com. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram and other socials by searching the Dave Matthews Tribute Band or the DMTB. Hope to see you on the road and enjoy the Space Between podcast.
And
So is it worth the cost? Let's just, because I know that's the first question people are going to ask when they're watching this that haven't been, because that was my first question to
right.
you is
So I look at it like this, and I'm going to give you a very honest answer as a fan. So
okay.
weigh the options, right? I think it's worth the cost to do it at least once for somebody, who wants to check it off their bucket list. I will probably go back next year, but to be quite honest, I enjoy full band more. Like I actually just enjoy going to the venues a lot more and listen to that. I mean, it's fun. I met so many people, so many great people, so many conversations. It was a great experience. Heard a few, probably heard 6 songs that I never heard before. I mean, including everyone that was there, like Monsters and
Right.
a couple other ones that I never heard, and that I never heard live. So yeah, it was a great experience.
Mm-hmm. So it's the storytelling part of Mexico. So when you're at Dave and Tim, I hear that there's a lot of storytelling that happens, and Dave speaks a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of Dave speak.
Was it fun? Did it?
It was fun. It was fun because again, during full band shows, like y'all smell good this evening, or thank y'all very much, and
right.
hope to have a good time. But he'll go on a little tangent, but it was funny. Like he's very funny. He's kind of all over the map a little bit, but he reels it in, and he states his thesis, and then his what's the word I'm looking for? Like his final statement, but like he gets to the point, but he's just comical as he does it, and he really grabs the attention of people. So yeah, that was really enjoyable. And the fact that he brought so many other great musicians out there with him was fire. Like Celise, she was amazing. Did you see her at the Gorge last year?
I did not. So I've never seen her. It's her or them? Is it a group or just a single?
So she was obviously playing prior to Dave, putting her on the map. But last year at the Gorge, I think it was
the lady that came out and sang with him. Yes, I'm caught up.
Yeah, she did Watchtower with him.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, she's got some pipes.
Murdered it. She's got some pipes.
Right.
She can play the guitar.
Yeah.
And then so she came back out this year. She did at the opening show, Night 0 at Nazook. Great show. Then she opened for him Night 1, and then War and Treaty opened for him Night 2. But aside from them just opening, so they would come and play at the Nazook pool for 45 minutes each day that they were getting ready to perform. So we'd be in the pool, they had the stage set up, so we'd get to hear them twice. And
awesome.
So when War and Treaty played, once they were done, him and his wife jumped in the pool and was buddy with everybody, taking pictures, and so that was really cool. And then there was another band there. I don't remember their name, but they opened up Night 3, and then he brought Molly Tuttle. Is that her name?
I don't know.
Yeah, so I think he put her on the map the year before that.
Okay.
And then she's already won, a Grammy and stuff like that. So that was she's kind of like folky.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good. I mean, it was interesting. So to answer your question, yes. Do I think it's worth it to go at least one time? Sure, absolutely. Just to see what it's all about and check the box, and But for me, I want to go to the Gorge. I want to go to, California. I'd love to go to West Palm Beach. I hear West Palm Beach is a great venue.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what's priority. Is Mexico priority or just, going to other shows that, for a fact. I mean, granted, Mexico is always a great time. But, like MSG, everybody like raves about MSG. And for me, in my experience, now that I'm really like diving deep into like the Dave world, like if there's 3 shows that you go to a year, it's probably Madison Square Garden, the Gorge, and Mexico. Like that's where everybody wants to be.
And those would not be the 3 that I would say I would want to go to. I mean, everyone has different, but for you, those 3, those would be it. Mexico. I mean, those are really great venues. And the Gorge is special because you get, I mean, really you're getting, if you were to do that, you'd be getting 3, 6, 8 shows in 3 different places.
Yeah.
Because 3, and 2. So, I mean, that's better bang for your buck there for sure.
Right. And then especially like if you have friends out there that you can stay with and you don't have to schlep all kinds of camping gear and this and that. So right. And then, you do it reasonably. You just get lawn seats and chill out on the lawn, chill with everybody else. Like, I'm not a rail chaser or like a pit chaser. Like, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's fun to be like,
for sure,
right up close and personal. But I think, being in the lawn, you also have more of an opportunity to kind of like have a more intimate experience. You get to meet more people because in the pit, everybody's so focused on the stage and taking pictures. And so it just depends on where you're at and like what you want to gain out of it. So
that's right. People always say the party's in the back though, for the lawns. I mean, the party is everywhere. You just gotta
find the right people.
Yeah, you just got to find the right people. It's all about who you're around. And I've definitely been known for, having those reserve seats and getting there and checking out the people around me and going, this is never going to fucking work. And leaving and going to the back because you really got to feel the vibe of the people around you. If they're not into it, then it's going to kind of ruin your experience. It would ruin mine because I would be like, I'm sorry. But so tell me, tell me your little story. And so we're gonna show a video right
my little
quick.
Story in Mexico. Okay. Sorry to go up. So, okay. So I got to Mexico on a Wednesday, like a lot of other people. I met up with my roommates, had a beer, a couple shots. Hey, let's go to the pool. And I knew Amy prior to going to Mexico. So I met her on like the Dave and Tim Mexico fans page, and I got to plug somebody else. Her name is Katie Johnson. Like if I wasn't for Katie Johnson, like I never would have been affiliated with any other of these like pages on Facebook. So I give all the credit to her. So I met Amy on there. I was looking for just a roommate. Like, hey, it's my bucket list. Like I want to go, etc. We linked up, chatted, for a while, like got to know each other. I drove out to Indiana to go like meet her. Like we hung out for the weekend. She's so awesome. Probably one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. So great, so kind. And then we're like, yeah, like cool, just to make sure it would work. Obviously like you don't want to get there and it's all weird and awkward.
No,
right.
Exactly.
So everything was copacetic. And then she's like, hey, do you mind if, this guy I'm dating comes along? I'm like, oh, not at all, whatever. So Dave Hartz, he was there. Awesome dude. Like we all just had a great time. So we go to the pool Wednesday, hanging out, drinking. They're like, okay, like we're going to go get some dinner. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to keep partying because, I'm in Mexico. So
the liquor is included, right?
So yeah, we go. So they leave. I go to the swing bar, which is right there at Moon Palace. Swing bar is really awesome. I'm a very extroverted person, so I can just talk to anybody. So I just start conversation with people, and next thing you know, we're like doing shots, jumping in the pool, getting out, like doing more shots. I met a dude the dude that was standing in front of me in Virginia, I met him in Mexico also for a second time.
Wow.
His name is Scott Wilco. Awesome guy. So anyway, long story short, I don't go back to the room. I ended up like crashing in somebody's room. So my roommate puts out this like funny post about, hey, have you seen our roommate? Yeah, we haven't seen him in like 12 hours. He's the nicest guy. He's probably passed out on a pool chair, blah, blah, blah. Under a pile of towels. If you wake him up, he'll probably greet you with a hug and ask you to do dots. Or like it was off the wall.
It was like, where's Waldo?
But that's what everybody said. Like, well, my PR was on point, right? So she just made it happen. So next thing you know, like here I am, like I wake up Thursday in this room, forget that I'm in Mexico, and then I have a come to Jesus moment. And I'm like, holy crap, like I'm in Mexico, like shit. Okay, like I got to go back to my room. Well, the person whose room I was in, like saw the post on Facebook and was like, hey, did you see this? And I'm like, no, I don't have my phone. So she's like explaining it to me, etc. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm still half drunk. And I'm like, all right,
yeah,
I just want to get to my room. So I I need to find my wallet. I got to make sure like my phone's good to go. So like, okay, that all can wait. So I'm walking back, and you know Cheryl. She's one of the admins on.
Yes, Brock, I believe.
Yes,
is her last name. Yes.
So I'm walking back, like just minding my own business, and I hear this, "Hey Billy, you all right?" And I'm like, look up, and I knew who she was because like I've been following the page, and I'm like, yeah, I'm great. And then I realized, like, are you videoing me? She's like, yeah, because your roommate posted something. I'm like, yeah, I'm good to go. And then it just exploded from there. She posted it on that, and then people, it was just like, yeah, kind of like a Where's Waldo in a sense, but, you know, like, hey, I found Philly Billy, and like, you know, I mean, selfies out the wazoo and conversations and, you know, laughs and shots and, yeah, so it was a whole thing, but it was very humbling, you know, because I never expected like in my life to, not that I'm like, I didn't go, like I'm not famous, but like people know me in the DMB community, right? And it was great. I mean, I got to really have in-depth conversations with people like, hey, like how many years have you been coming to Mexico? Like, where are you from? Like, what's your, how do you, and like, so yeah, so a lot of the people I would spend, you know, 10, 15 minutes just like chatting with, or groups of people. And, I mean,
it just opened the door for you to be able to meet so many people that you probably would not have met.
Correct.
If this had not have happened. So thank God for alcohol and passing out, right?
And Amy.
And Amy. So we are going to attach the video. So you said there was a whole video that
she put together like this
out on Facebook.
She put together this montage of like, and again, it's not even, I mean, I think the video itself was probably like 2.5 minutes, but I mean, there was hundreds of pictures that people just posted of me and comments and so forth and so on. So, I mean, it would have been a very redundant like thing, but it was really cool that she put it together, and it got a lot of like a lot of likes and a lot of love, and you know, I still talk to a lot of the people that I met in Mexico from all over the country, and so.
If nothing else, your video and your story definitely sells 2024 Mexico. So when do they typically start talking about Mexico for the next year? Do you know when that comes out for availability?
So it drops in July. So they open up the I guess like the reservations in July.
Okay.
So, which is great because I was extremely concerned the first year, because I was like, oh no, like I'm like, yeah, I'm going to jump on and get it. And they're like, nah, wrong, because alumni get like first choice. And I'm like, shit. So, but now I'm an alumni. So like, I don't have to wait that extra couple hours. So
right.
Just jump back on.
For all the good stuff to be gone. So if you've gone 1 year or one time, then that means that you're an alumni. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I've seen all these different levels of people that did like 10-year whatever, 5-year, whatever the max year is. How many years have they been doing
6.
Mexico?
There's people that have gone
6.
religiously for 6 years.
That's great. That's so awesome. So where we're going to move into next, of course, is this podcast is just recently, we've decided that we want to make sure that this podcast does more than just talking about Dave. We really want to make a difference in the world. And so with each episode, we ask our guest what charity is important to them or pulls on heartstrings for them. And so we're going to let Philly Bill pick his charity of choice. And what that does, we'll show you a short clip of his charity of choice. And then if you feel led or if you would like to look more into that, we'll give you their website as well as a link to donate if your heart feels like doing that. So tell us what charity you have picked for us this week.
So the charity that I chose, and it was a tough one. Like, so, I'm prior military, et cetera. And like, there's a lot of charities out there for military people and a lot of programs that are doing great things for, military people and, and women and et cetera. But the charity that I chose was the American Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, because nobody deserves to be treated, poorly. But I think a lot of animals are treated, poorly, not just through abuse, but, also abandonment. And, it does tug on my heartstrings because I love all animals. I'm a dog person. I'm a cat person. I'm a horse person. I'm a rabbit person. Like anything that wants to cuddle me, like I'm all about it. Like I'll pet the shit
Absolutely.
out of it. So,
unless it's a snake, and that's where
I'm not a big snake person.
No.
Or a skunk. But even if it was descented, whatever, like I'll pet a skunk. Whatever. But I think animals, I think they need a lot of recognition, and especially like I was just recently in Puerto Rico, and there's a lot of stray dogs out there. There's a lot of stray cats, and it's not due to people really being cruel. It's due to all the hurricanes that came through in the last 10 years that really have made the homeless animal population what it is, because, people left the island due to the fact that like, I can't afford to rebuild my house and start from scratch, like share, female help, insurance, et cetera. But, a lot of these animals were just abandoned because people left the island.
Right. Well, so the ASPCA is near and dear to my heart as well. And so American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, again, it's a nonprofit organization that depends entirely on donations from donors. So all of the money that they use to help and support these animals are 100% from donors. So please look at the information below. And if you feel led to do that, please donate in the honor of this podcast. Thank you so much for bringing a charity to awareness for all of us. I think that, we can all do something bigger than ourselves. And that's definitely something I wanted to include on this podcast and YouTube channel. So thank you so much for helping me with this.
Thank you for including that. I think that's a great thing to include in your segment.
Absolutely.
Bringing awareness.
So let's talk just a few more things about Dave, and that will be this episode for this week. And again, if you're listening to us through a podcast app, you definitely want to check this out on YouTube. The YouTube channel name is The Space Between with Renae Lipsmeyer. And that way you'll be able to see Philly Billy's video of in Mexico. Where's Waldo? Where's Billy? Where's all the things? You're going to want to see that video. So be sure to check out our YouTube video and subscribe and comment, because Philly Billy will be able to see those things on his YouTube video as well. So let's just briefly talk about 2023. What do plans look like for you? And do your plans typically change throughout the year? We sometimes have plans and we're like, we're going to do X, Y, Z, and then A, B, C, D happens. So what does 2023 look like for you?
My plans for 2023 are pretty solidified. My first show of the tour is in Columbia, Maryland. Every venue I'm going to this summer, I've never been to. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
So Columbia, Maryland, going to SPAC,
awesome.
going to Camden.
Awesome.
Taking my youngest boy to his first show in Homedale, New Jersey.
Awesome.
So that'll be cool. And then I might potentially go out west to the Gorge. It's not solidified yet, but I know I got a place to stay. I just need to figure out if like, hey, I want to go or not. I will eventually make it out to Washington.
Of course.
Yeah,
that's a big trek from where you are, though.
Yeah, it's a long flight.
Literally completely across the country.
It is. So, and the people that I've been communicating with that, were kind enough to say that I could stay with them, are giving me pointers like, hey, there's going to be a lot of people at the airport that are going to like be, traveling down, see if you can catch a ride with them. I got an RV to stay in, we'll get you the bracelet to stay in the campground. You just got to get your tickets or whatever and, figure out food and all that. But it sounds exciting. The way they pitched it to me, they're like, yeah, it's so great. And I mean, not only do you get, all the shows there, but I mean, the scenery is just breathtaking.
Absolutely. It looks like it's a dream, and everyone talks so highly of it. I've never met a single person or heard a single story that was negative. And so when that many people have a positive take on that, it's just hard for me to believe that it could be negative. So I am going this year. I do not have tickets, but I'm going on like a wing and a prayer that it's all going to happen.
Well, just get lawn tickets. You get long tickets.
I'm completely fine just to like hear it from the RV. I'll be thrilled to death. And
yeah, because it's very close. And then
right.
So I don't know if that ends the summer tour or if that starts the fall tour.
I think so. And I don't think, to my knowledge, a fall tour hasn't been announced, but I'm sure there will be.
But MSG is definitely on the docket for me again.
Awesome.
Amazing.
I've always wanted to go. It seems like it's always in November, right near my birthday. But again, it's just like November shows, the closer they are to Christmas, the more you start panicking as a parent going, oh my God, are my kids doing Christmas because I'm going to Dave Matthews Band? It's just tricky timing.
Yeah. I mean, I found a Airbnb literally like 3 blocks away from the venue. I took the train into the city. I went to a couple of like Amy was there too. So like we hung out, like we had different seats,
awesome.
But like, I knew somebody there, and obviously like I met a couple other people through the pages, hung out with them, but it's like, yeah, it was probably 2 of the best shows that I've ever seen.
I was watching or listening. I can't remember which one, but and
it's crazy. I say that about every show. Like, man,
I do too. I do too. Yes, they're all wonderful. And like I always say, he could sing the phone book from A to Z, and I would literally probably just weep tears. Like, I've never heard the Addams Family that way. Like it'd be amazing.
It's just I don't know how he out surpasses himself time after time after
every time.
And that's why I think it's the best show, because it's like, man, you just crushed it this one. Here I am 3 days later, and you're just blowing my socks off, and it's amazing.
Yeah, the whole band, they just continue to get better and better. Now, last question before we have to end this week's podcast. But have you listened, and it's okay to say no because this literally just came out this week or end of last week, Jeff Coffin's new album.
I have not.
If I can encourage everyone, just if you
Water, isn't it called Water?
Water something. Yes, something like that. But I can't remember right now.
I did see something about it today. Like we just released it on the 5th, I think, Cinco de Mayo.
Yes. So it's just been out for a few days, and I listened to it through Apple Music because I think it's just available digitally. I'm not for sure, but I think it is available only digitally. And it is, of course, completely different than Dave Matthews Band. It is just jazz music, but it's it's just so good. And it makes you kind of see Jeff in a different light. And to see how flexible he is as a performer. It's really good. So that's my highlight for the week, is to listen to Jeff's new album. And I know that he gave credit to another man on the album that is also starring on it, but I can't remember his name, but definitely check that out. It's available on all the apps.
I just watched a little snippet on Facebook about, he was in the studio in New Orleans at the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, like where they record, and he was plugging his album, which is great. I'll definitely look into it. But he came from the Flecktones, right?
Yes. Now they are still performing as a band without him, correct?
Yes.
So I wonder how, and we'll never know the answer, but I would love to hear from him. Like, how hard was the choice to leave one band to go to another? I wonder.
And Leroy brought Rashawn on prior to like his accident and like his passing. So I mean, it's. The king is always going to be the king. Like, he was the GOAT in the beginning.
That's right.
But, I think the trumpet brings a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? I think it brings a lot, like the presence. It's so bright, the sax and the clarinet. I mean, but the fact that like Jeff is musically talented as like Leroy was, like played the flute, the clarinet, multiple saxophones. I mean, so thankfully, like they were able to find somebody who can, slowly fill the shoes of Leroy and, keep it the way it was traditionally, is fantastic. But I mean, I don't know. He's great, and I would love to listen to him, solo. I mean, Tim, like I watched, I think it was a couple months ago, and I know we got to wrap it up. But I watched, what is it called, like TM3 or something like that?
Yeah, I think TR3. Is that right? Is that what you said?
It was weird.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I think it's just Tim Reynolds 3.
It's Tim Reynolds. It's Tim Reynolds and two other people.
Right. So I guess that's where the 3.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like he's still a phenomenal musician, but it's.
Oh yeah.
It's weird to see him talk, because you don't ever see him talk during a show.
Yes.
He's goofy, and it's just it's his style. It's not Dave's style. It's his style.
Right.
So,
it's almost more like when I listen to him play the guitar, it's almost more like you're switching gears from a rock and roll concert to more of like a classical guitar concert. Like, it's just so different, but so entertaining how he can just, he's brilliant.
Okay.
And how he does, I don't know, but he is a super talented guy.
I think he's so underrated as a guitarist.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't get me, like, I love hearing him play electric, but acoustic is where he's really like fine-tuned it, and I mean, just the things this man does on an acoustic guitar is just mind-blowing.
Absolutely. Isn't it just amazing how but this is how it all happened, right? Like, they were amazing individually, and so when you put a bunch of amazing people together, it's just fireworks.
But Dave didn't bring Tim on until like way later.
Well, no, I mean, but
they played together. They played together, but not in the band. And then eventually, like, Dave brought him into the band, and I think that was a huge milestone for DMB.
Do you want to hear my unpopular opinion? And I've said this before, but I'll say it again, and fight me, whatever. But I think the band right now is the best they've ever fucking been. And that's my opinion, and I can say that.
No, I agree.
I appreciate every bit of it. And I think, it's like a well-oiled machine, and now they are just at their fucking prime.
They're so tight. They're so tight.
Yeah,
I agree. I think
so good. Like, there's no one person that you're like, oh, we could do without them. No, we need every single piece of them.
Because now you got Buddy. So, like, granted, like, Boyd's not there anymore. like he served his purpose, but, Buddy's got the organs and can, simulate the violin and the fiddle. And so like, check that box.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think everybody has a place. And I agree with you. I think the sound that they have now is so pristine and so clean. And it's beautiful. And I wouldn't change anything about it.
No, I mean, no, I can't say anything more. They're just perfect the way they are. And I'm so excited to see them this year and for whatever happens in the future.
I hope they continue to play for another 20 years, to be quite honest with you.
I mean, that would be lovely. I try not to talk too much about that because I've been, I mean, we're all just getting older and that's just facts. But you know what? There are bands that are still happening and they're much older than the boys. And so if they're still playing when they're 80, I will still be front row just cheering them on. If I can be, whatever that looks like.
Whatever that looks like, right.
Whatever that looks like in a couple of years. So, well, thank you so much for being willing to come on this podcast and this YouTube channel. And so I am so excited to be sharing your story with the rest of our family, because that's what this is all about. It's not about the band. Yes, we all love the band and that's what brought us together. But really our stories are about how we met the band, how we met each other, and just our shared love for this band that is the Dave Matthews Band. So thank you